guys, so here we are back for our daily read aloud. So today we're going to be on chapter 10. And if you remember last time we read Connor and Alex were working on getting the item from the wishing spell, and they didn't think that they got Cinderella's slipper because she was so sweet they didn't want to steal it from her. But then on the ride to Red Riding Hood's kingdom, Alex opened up her bag and the slipper was inside. We don't know how it got there, but Connor and Alex had their second item. Remember, the first was the strand of hair from Rapunzel's golden rope braid, right? And then the second is Cinderella's golden slipper. So now they're on their way to Red Riding Hood's kingdom to get the third item. And if you remember, when they were cracking the riddle, they think that it's a piece of her basket. So let's start reading, okay? The Red Riding Hood Kingdom. The subtle shakes of the pear cart finally rocked Alex and Connor to sleep. If they hadn't been so exhausted from the previous restless night and eventful day, the shock of discovering the glass slipper in their possession would have kept them up all night. The next morning they awoke just as the cart was arriving in the northern village it was destined for. The first thing Alex did when she awoke was to make sure the slipper was still in her tight grip, as it had been when she'd fallen asleep. She couldn't let go of it. She was afraid if it wasn't in her hands at all times, it might just disappear as easily as it appeared. The mystery of how it had gotten in her bag was still the most prominent thing in her mind. What do you think prominent means? It's the most prominent thing in her mind, how the glass slipper got in her bag. Yeah, it's like the most dominant. It's the thing that's like possessing her brain. It's all she can think about is how did this glass slipper get in her bag? Yeah, good. Do you think it was magic? Connor asked Alex. Maybe the slipper knew we needed it and transported itself into the bag. I've read enough fantasy books to know that that's a possibility, Alex said. And after everything we've been through, I wouldn't be surprised. But the point is, we have it now. It's one less item we have to collect, so let's focus all of our energy on getting a hold of Red Riding Hood's basket. She wrapped a blanket around her slipper for safekeeping and stored it in her bag. They didn't want any unwanted attention from carrying it around. I hope Cinderella or Lambton don't send soldiers after us once they realize it's gone, Connor said. Alex hadn't thought of that. I lost my place again. What if, as if they were speaking, Lambton was putting together a band of soldiers to find them and take them into captivity? What do you think captivity means? If they would be caught stealing, they could be taken into captivity. So what do you think that means? Yeah, like a confined space, like a jail, right? Yeah, captivity. Captivity too is like we talk about like the animals at the zoo are in captivity. Not that they're in cages, but they're in smaller areas in their actual environment, right? Yeah. Then we'll tell them the truth and we'll worry about it when it happens, Alex said. But let's keep moving in the meantime. There didn't appear to be any roads or paths on the map that went to Red Riding Hood's kingdom, so the twins were forced to travel straight through the forest of elm trees to get there. Alex read from the journal as they walked. And I can tell the font is changing. Okay, so I know it's the journal. So this is words from the journal. As everyone knows, the Red Riding Hood kingdom is surrounded by a tall wall to keep out the wolves. There are guarded entrances into the kingdom along the perimeter of the wall. You guys know what perimeter means for Miss Hungate, don't you? Remember? Perimeter goes all the way around. Add up all of the sides and then you write it down. So perimeter is good, the edge, the outside. So we'll find the wall, find the entrance, and be inside the kingdom in no time, Alex said. What if they don't let us inside? Connor asked. I can't imagine why they wouldn't let us in, Alex asked. But if they don't, this time let me do the talking. An hour or so walking later, the twins could see the wall surrounding the kingdom in the distance. It was massive. think about what massive means. I'm going to read some more for context, okay? It was 30 feet tall and made from enormous gray bricks. What do you think massive means? Yeah, huge. Good. The same warning sign was posted on the wall every few feet. You see there's a warning sign right here. By crawl decree and approved by the Happily Ever After Assembly, wolves of any kind, breed, or color are strictly prohibited from entering the Red Riding Hood Kingdom. All trespassers will be killed and turned into rugs, coats, or decoration. You have been warned. Now be gone. That's brutal, isn't it? Wow, Connor said. The wolves are definitely not getting in there. They walked beside the wall for another couple of hours, but never found an entrance. Alex reread the journal and found a part she had missed. And again, the font changes so I know they're reading from the journal. There is a north entrance, a south entrance, an east entrance, and a west entrance. Each has its own path that goes to the center of the kingdom where the town is. There is only one town in Red Riding Hood Kingdom. The rest is farmland. Oh no, Alex said. I misread the journal. Apparently there are only 4 entrances into the kingdom. How close are we to one of them now? Connor asked. Alex looked closely at the map, and her eyes widened a bit. Connor could tell this was not going to be good news. It looks like we're right between the west entrance and the south entrance, which means more walking, Connor said, with his forehead furrowed and his hands on his hip. Yes, Alex said, bearing the bad news. About a day or two's worth. Connor walked around in a circle, frustrated beyond belief. This is so annoying, Connor yelled. Why can't anything be easy? Connor, everything's okay. It's just going to take us a little longer to... No, Alex, it's not okay, Connor yelled. We've been in this world for almost a week. I want to go home. I miss my mom. I miss my friends. I'm even starting to miss Miss Peters. There, I admitted it. Connor misses Miss Peters. She's not very nice, is she? That must be bad. He must really want to go home if he wants to see Miss Peters. Connor was so upset that he kicked a tree, but he ended up just hurting his foot. Ouch, he yelled. I miss home too, but there's nothing I can do about it, Alex said. We'll get home when we get home, and that's that. But in the meantime, it doesn't do us any good to be angry. We just have to get through it. Connor crossed his arms and his shoulders slumped. He was aggravated almost to tears. Alex assumed they were closer to the southern entrance and led the way toward it. Connor verbalized his frustrations the entire way. I miss pavement and sidewalks, Connor ranted. I miss our crappy rental house. I miss our neighborhood. I miss that dog down the street that barks constantly at night. I miss homework. I miss getting detention for not doing homework. Let it out, Connor, Alex said. You'll feel better. I hate this place, Connor continued. I hate the dirt paths. I hate the man-eating witches. I hate the mutant-sized wolves. I hate sleeping outside. I hate bridge trolls. I hate all the trees. Wait, that's it. The trees. Connor searched their surroundings and ran ahead to a big tree next to the kingdom's wall. What are you doing? Alex asked. I'm getting inside that kingdom. I'm going to climb this tree and hop over the wall, Connor yelled back at her. He started climbing at it very quick and determined pace. It's a 30-feet drop on the other side at least, Alex said. Come on, Alex, Connor said and gestured for her to follow him. I'm not climbing that tree, she said. You'll climb up Rapunzel's tower, but a tree is out of the question? Connor asked mockingly. And I shouldn't have done that. I agree, she said. But she was ignored. Connor was almost at the top of the tree. Alex ran over the tree and climbed a little way after him. Connor, please, come down from there. I'd rather travel slowly and safely than quickly and dangerously, she said. Connor stood on the tallest branch of the tree. The top of the wall was just a few feet away. I'm going to jump to the wall and see if I can spot a way down, Connor said. Connor, don't be stupid. Climb down right now. You're going to hurt yourself, Alex demanded. Wish me luck, Connor said. and prepped himself for the jump. 1, 2, 3. Connor jumped off the tree branch and soared toward the wall. No! Alex yelled. He had jumped a little too hard. He missed the wall by a few inches and flew over it, head first. That's not good, is it? Alex! Connor bellowed from his fall. She heard a large thump from the other side, but she couldn't see anything. Connor! Alex screamed. Connor, are you all right? Connor, are you alive? She was hysterical. Alex climbed up the tree faster than any animal she had ever seen in a documentary. Connor, answer me, she pleaded. Can you hear me? Are you hurt? Alex heard laughter just as she reached the top of the tree. On the other side of the wall, she saw Connor lying safely on a big stack of hay. Hi, Alex, Connor said with a big smile on his face. Connor, you scared me to death, Alex shouted. I know. It was so entertaining, Connor said. Do you really think I would have jumped if I didn't see something to land on? I'm glad you're alive, so I can kill you myself, Alex said. Jump over it. It's a soft landing. I promise, he said. Fine, Alex said. She carefully tossed him her bag before jumping over the fence. Connor was right. The landing was soft. They were covered in hay and they brushed it off each other. Take a look at this place, Alex said as she and Connor journeyed into the Red Riding Hood kingdom. They felt as if they had entered another dimension all over again. There were rolling hills of farmland for as far as they could see. Cows and sheep were grazing across the fields. Shepherds with curved staffs and shepherdesses in long bonnets attended to the animals with their dogs. Everything's so peaceful here, Alex said. I feel like I'm in a nursery rhyme. They must be bored out of their minds, Connor said. I wonder whose land this is, Alex said. A few moments later, Alex got her answer. They passed a big wooden sign stuck to the ground that said, Bo Peep Family Farms. Well, it makes sense why they would think they're in a nursery rhyme, wouldn't it? Bo Peep. Do you guys remember that nursery rhyme? Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and didn't know where to find them. Wasn't it? Leave them alone and they'll come home wagging their tails behind them. Something like that. So nursery rhymes are coming into play too on top of our fairy tales, aren't they? The scenery was so pleasant that this time went by fairly fast. After they traveled a while longer, the peaked and pointed rooftops of the town came into view. They couldn't see much while they were looking at it from the outskirts, but once they were in the center of it, the town came to life. How adorable, Alex squealed at the first sight of the town. It was so dainty and so picturesque, they felt that they were in a theme park. It was filled with tiny cottage homes and shops made of brick and stone walls and hay roofs. A bell in the steeple of an old schoolhouse rang. Many staff-carrying men and bonnet-wearing women, like the ones they had seen in the fields, walked about the town, pulling goats and sheep along with them. Among the many stores and shops were Henny Penny Bank, Jack Horner's Pie Shop, and Pat a Cake's Bakery. The Shoe Inn was just adjacent to the main town, and it was a boot of gigantic proportions, turned into a working hotel. A bunch of nursery rhymes, right? So we had the shoe from the woman who lived in the shoe. Then we have the Pat a Cake baker's man. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner and didn't know where to find him. And I don't know the Henny Penny one, but I know that's a thing. I've heard of it, but I can't remember the nursery rhyme. You guys will have to tell me. I don't remember that one. In the very center of the town was a grassy park that hosted several memorials and monuments. Alex was doing mental backflips at the side of each of them. A small brick wall that stood by itself had a golden plaque on it that said, Sir Humpty Dumpty's Wall. You were a good egg and shall be missed by more than just the king's horses and all the king's men. Rest in peace. Just past Humpty Dumpty's wall was a small hill and a well on top of it, and a sign pointing to a hill that said, Jack and Jill Hill. In the middle of the park was a circular fountain. A statue of a young shepherd boy stood in the center of it, and water poured from the mouths of the sheep that were under him. In the carved dedication, the fountain read, "In memory of the boy who cried wolf. You were a liar, but you were loved." Remember that nursery rhyme? A kind of story, I guess. We've talked about those. I know about the little boy who cried wolf because that's kind of like there's a really strong theme in it that pops up in other stories. The twins were so enthralled by everything that they were getting strange looks from the village and townspeople. "This place reminds me of that miniature golf course in town," Connor said. "Not the one by us, but the really legit one across town, where all the rich kids live." At the edge of town, the best view of the park was Red Riding Hood's castle. The castle had 4 tall towers that could be seen from anywhere in town. It appropriately had red walls with dark red roofs. The moat circled the castle and had its own water mill. The castle looked massive from far away. However, the twins moved closer to it and they realized that it wasn't very big at all. It was just built to look big. The moat around it was so small that the twins could have easily stepped over it. "I bet you Red Riding Hood's basket's in there somewhere," Connor said. Alex retrieved the journal from her bag and began reading the specifics on collecting the basket to Connor. So the font is changing so I can tell now I'm reading to you the journal, okay? Unlike every other palace or castle, Red Riding Hood's isn't very difficult to break into. The castle was built so quickly after the CRAWL revolution that the builders forgot to add some basic necessities. The kitchen windows located at the back of the castle have no locks on them. The Red Riding Hood Kingdom is the safest and smallest of all the kingdoms. Therefore, they're short-handed on soldiers and guards. The halls of the castle are only partially patrolled until midnight, and the guards don't return until dawn. Sneak into the castle between midnight and dawn through the kitchen window. Stay away from the main halls, and you should be fine. Queen Red Riding Hood has a special room in her chambers devoted to all the baskets she's acquired and been given over the years. Find this room, and you'll find her very first basket, the one she took with her to her grandmother's house all those years ago. You don't need to collect the whole basket, just a small chunk of tree bark that surrounds the rim. It shouldn't be easy to identify, as there is already a chunk of tree bark missing from when I collected it." "And I was just hoping we could ring the doorbell and ask for it," Connor said. Alex looked up at the towers and the windows and wondered which window belonged to the room that they would find the basket in. And she looked up at the castle, and something else entirely caught her eye. "Look over there," Alex said, and pointed to the sky. Connor turned to look in the direction she pointed. Sticking straight up in the air, 100 feet or so, was an enormous beanstalk. Who would that be? Jack, right? "That must be Jack's beanstalk," Alex said. "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" "No, but I'm sure you want to go see the beanstalk." Connor said it before he could finish. And before he finished, Alex had taken off towards it. The twins ran through the town and had to take a trail leading out of town to get to the beanstalk. They passed a few cottage homes and more farmland as they traveled. It was much farther than they had thought. Eventually, they saw the base of the beanstalk ahead. It was thick and curly and had huge leaves that grew right next to an old, decrepit shack that was only large enough to have one room inside of it. A little ways behind the beanstalk and the shack was a large, elegant manor with yellow bricks and enough chimneys and windows to hold a dozen rooms. "Which one's Jack's house?" Connor asked as they approached the beanstalk. Alex looked at it for a moment until she figured it out. The shack must be where Jack lived with his mother when they were poor, and then after he defeated the giant and became rich, they must have built a new home just behind it, she said happily. "They're both his." Connor shrugged. He had no reason to doubt her, he guessed. "Look at how tall it is," Alex said once they had reached the base of the beanstalk. "It would take a lot of bravery to climb that." Just then they heard the door slam, and a man came out of the manor. He was young and tall, with short hair and broad shoulders. He was good-looking, but wore a subdued expression. He carried an axe and a log. "Look, Alex," Connor whispered. "Do you think that's Jack?" "I don't know," she whispered back. "Let's ask him." The man set the log on the chopping block in the front yard and began chopping the log into small pieces. "Hi there!" Alex became extra friendly. Hello, the man said, never looked up from chopping. Are you Jack? Connor asked him. Yep, the man said. Do you need something? No, we're just traveling around, Alex said. We saw your beanstalk from all the way in town and wanted to get a closer look. Many people do, Jack said. I have to chop it down in a week because it grows so fast. His expression barely changed as he chopped in the wood. He was just accustomed to random people approaching his home in Beanstalk. He's been numb to it. You have a lovely home, Alex said. Except for the eyesore in the front, Connor said and nodded toward the shack between them. Connor, be polite, Alex said. I've turned it into a workshop. Workshop, Jack told them. He finished chopping the wood and collected the pieces in his hands and went into the shack and slammed the door behind him. Well, someone isn't much of a conversationalist, Connor said. What do you think conversationalist means? Remember, ist means someone who does something. Okay, so we have ist. So someone who does conversational. Do you see a root word in there? Conversation, right? Yeah, so he's not much of someone who has conversations. Good. Good decoding there. I wonder what's wrong with him. He seems so different, Alex said. Oh, have you met him before? Connor asked. Sometimes he wondered if she had forgotten that they were actually from another world. No, I just mean from the way he's always been described, Alex said. He's always so energetic and adventurous, and I wonder what's troubling him. Maybe he doesn't like people coming to his house, said Connor. If I were him, I'd really get annoyed too. Connor had another sarcastic comment to add, but he was distracted by a high-pitched sound coming from inside the manor. Do you hear that? Connor asked Alex. It sounds like singing. They both turned to face the manor as a set of window shutters were pushed open. The twins wouldn't have believed it if they had been so close, but standing behind the window was a golden woman. She happily sang a soprano ballad as loudly as she could. A set of strings played along with her, but the twins couldn't see where the music was coming from. Okay, here's the song, and I can tell because it changed the font again. Oh, the day is here, and so am I, to wistfully dream of birds that fly. If I had legs, I'd see the world and travel away. But I'm only a harp, and this window is where I shall stay. She turned to face the twins as she sang one final note, and they noticed a set of strings connected to her back. The strings played magically along with her voice. She was a magic harp. Let's see how much longer we have in this chapter. Give me 1 second. I think we're going to have to break this apart again, guys. Well, we have about 24 more pages, so I don't think that's going to work today, so I'll probably stop after this next one, okay? I'll read these pages and then we'll take a break. Hello, children. I didn't see you there, the harp said. Alex jumped up and down. Are you the magical harp? She asked. The one that Jack saved from the giant? The one and only, the harp said, and struck a dramatic pose. And thank goodness he did, because giants have terrible taste in music. You wouldn't believe the numbers he used to force me to perform for him. All the lyrics were about eating sheep and stepping on villagers. Would you like me to sing for you? No thanks, Connor said. The harp took offense to this. I remember the day like it was yesterday, the harp said. There I was, minding my own business, being a slave for the giant, when suddenly the skinny peasant boy walks by, and I was like, hey there, why don't you rescue me? I can use some rescuing. And the next thing I know, we were zooming down the beanstalk, and the giant fell to his death. Splat! Right on top of Bo Peep's farm. It was quite a day. Splat. What type of figurative language is that? Good, onomatopoeia. It's a sound word. How terrifying, Alex said. It was the most excitement I had in 100 years. Everything worked out just wonderfully, though. Jack and his mother became rich. I wasn't a slave anymore. And the Bo Peep family said the giant was the best fertilizer their farm had ever never used. That's so wrong, Connor said to himself. What are you two doing here? The harp asked them with a big smile. Alex and Connor looked at each other, both afraid to answer. We're just visiting, Alex said. We've never been to the Red Riding Hood Kingdom before. We were in town and we saw the beanstalk and wanted to see it close up, Connor said. Then, welcome, the harp said. Don't you just love it here? I know I do. I've been around the world and I've never felt more comfortable. It's so safe here. The people are friendly farmers, and the best part is, no wolves are allowed. Are you two thinking of moving? Wouldn't that be nice? I think you should move here and visit me every day. The harp was very chatty, and the Quinns could tell she was desperate for attention. Spending every day cooped up in a house really couldn't be easy. We were actually on our way home, Connor said. We just have to make a stop at Red Riding Hood's castle, and then we'll be on our way. We've never been before. You should take Jack with you, the harp said. He's heading there this afternoon to meet with Queen Red Riding Hood. Yes? Alex asked. Oh, yes, the harp said. He visits her at the end of every week and brings her a homemade basket every time. And we're going to leave off there. So next time we'll do Chapter 10, Part 5. All right, guys, I had fun reading with you today. I can't wait to do it again tomorrow. Bye.